All right, shalom, shalom. First thing first, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due unto Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone, those who rule well and who I learned this truth from. And salutation to the brothers stiffly pushing this one truth and all sincerity and diligence, risking your lives and freedoms to do so. All right, shalom to the rest of the elect. As we all await the second Exodus coming quickly by the hands of Lord Yahweh Shai. This is your brother Kagabar, be coming back at you with a lesson. All right, going into how Yahawah, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, specializes, all right, in mind renewal. Okay, the Lord specializes in renewing our minds, man. Ultimately, the Lord puts us in situations to where we get brought low. All right, we get taken down very low, all right, to the depths of hell. And the Lord in those moments, all right, when you're broken, all right, and you're going through that refinement process, that's when the Lord comes and sups with you. That's when the Lord comes and sups with you and starts to working on renewing you, man. Okay. Matter of fact, let's start here in Psalm 71:20. It says, "Thou which hast showed me great and sore troubles shall quicken me again and shall bring me up again from the depths of the earth." All right. And that's how it feels in this walk, that the troubles, the afflictions, the things that we deal with, that we go through, it brings you low, man. It takes you down very low. You get broken. All right. The shit you go through, it humbles you, man. And the Lord allows for us, Salakia, the Lord allows for us to get brought low, because in those low moments, that's when he comes in, all right, and shows us why we need him, right? Why we need Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah in those moments, man. Okay, scriptures say that the Lord's strength is made perfect in weakness. So, going through the shit we deal with, being brought low, and it feels like the weight of the world is on you, and you just sink so far low due to the demons and shit you battling. That's a hot time where the Lord can come in, all right, and work on you, man, and ultimately work on renewing you, okay? Because when you go into the, our minds being renewed, it's really scientifically, they got a term for it called neuroplasticity, which is pretty much how your mind can be rewired. You can have neurons fire off to different neurons and create a whole new highway or pathway in your mind, change and transform the way you think, man. Change and transform the way you operate, and that's what the Lord specializes in, man, is ultimately, realigning our spirit with his spirit, man. Realigning our spirit, our thought patterns, particular things to aligning it with his spirit. That's how you're renewed, man. Okay, let's grab this one. Let's grab this one. 2 Corinthians 4:16, "For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day." So though this flesh continues to, get decrepit and old and decay, the spirit, man, is able to constantly be refreshed, man. I want to look up that word renewed. Give me one moment. We'll look it up. We'll look up the word renew here in 2 Corinthians 4. All right, because the Lord renews us, man. Constantly we have to be renewed. We have to have our mind ultimately refreshed. Like when you have to have a computer and you got to, you got updates you download on the computer. You got to reset it. You got to restart it, and then you restart it and it begins to work smoothly again. Yeah, well, that's what happens with us, man. All right. But that word for renew is the Greek anakaino. All right, anakaino. It says to cause to grow up new, to make new. New strength and vigor is given to one. See? To be changed into a new kind of life as opposed to the former corrupt state. So the Lord is able to transform us, man. And, this is the beauty of it, is that, you never have to feel like you're stuck. Okay. You never have to feel like you're stuck, man. And it's normally in those moments, those low moments where you feel like you stuck and all hope is lost. Well, really, again, that's when the Lord That's what he requires. He requires a broken spirit. He requires us to be broken and brought low. That way we can rely on him and we can turn to him, and he can begin to purify and renew us, man. It says new strength and vigor is given to one. See, because, the Lord comes in, all right, and you begin to, you begin to focus on the true things of the scriptures, and the Lord revigorates you, man. He reinvigorates you, right? Scriptures say the outward man perish, the inward man is renewed day by day. See, so that's why you're not supposed to dwell on, your particular shortcomings and, things you're battling and whatnot. You got to focus on the fact that the Lord is able to constantly renew us, refresh us, man. It's a new vigor and new strength and vigor is given to one to be changed into a new kind of life as opposed to the former corrupt state, which is what? Ultimately walking after the spirit, man. The corrupt state is this flesh, which is what we battle. But the spirit, we get a constantly refresh of the spirit, man. That's why it's so important to stay locked in, because you can get refreshed. If you fall to the flesh will choke you out. It'll suffocate you. It'll continue to try to drag you down into the depths of the earth, man, as we read in Psalm 71, right? Thou which hast showed me great and sore trouble shall quicken me again and shall bring me up again from the depths of the earth. Yeah, so when we fall low, and it feel like the weight of the world on your shoulders, everything is collapsing, you feel crushed, you feel broken, the Lord is able to bring us up again and reinvigorate us, man. You see that, to renew us, to bring us back to life, even stronger. You see? Okay. This is, Psalm 34:18. The Lord Yahawah is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit. So the Lord requires, us to, be humble, man. A broken heart. And you normally get a broken heart and you humble when you go off, when you go off, when you do wrong, when you realize you've fallen short. That should humble you, man. Now, if you're a proud individual and you have no conviction, then you're likely slated for destruction. But an individual who can recognize and realize when they go off and that they need the Lord, that's what the Lord wants, man. He wants us to realize, like, we're just earth and ashes, man. We're men. Who are you to be proud when the Lord created you, man? Who are you to be convinced and fully shameless of your actions when the Lord created your ass, man? So the Lord requires a broken heart. And when, we come in that mind frame, it says the Lord is nigh unto them of a broken heart and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit. So he's able to bring you back up from the depths of hell, man. This is hell. He brings you up from the depths of this place, man. This place can, it crushes you, man. It tries to squeeze out your spirit. So the Lord has to renew us constantly, refresh our mind, realign with his spirit, realign with the spirit, man. And that's what gives us a breath of fresh air to make it out of here, man. All right. This is 2 Corinthians 12:9, since I mentioned it. It says, and he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. See, most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Hamashiach may rest upon me. You see that in those low moments when you feel like you're in the depths of the earth. All right. When you're broken, you're lowly. That is when the Lord's strength is made perfect, because you realize we need him, man. All right. And the Lord, Yahawah, was able to conquer death. He walked a perfect life, man. So if he was able to conquer these things, relying and leaning on him allows for us to conquer it too. You see? Okay. For my strength is made perfect in weakness. So you have to be brought low. My strength is made perfect in weakness, because you come in that humble, broken mind frame. You're not coming in a proud, oh, I don't need the Lord. I can do this. I'll figure it out by myself. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, the Lord gonna say, fuck it, man. He not dealing with that. You got to realize you need the Lord. That's why every time, when you deal with the Israelites, when you read the stories, man, every time something was going on where we needed the Lord desperately, whether we were in a captivity or going through some shit, what did we do? We stripped down, shaved our head bald, put ashes on ourselves, ultimately represented a sign of mourning and crying out, you know. Well, yeah, that's really what the Lord requires through the Spirit. All right. That mind frame is wherein the Lord can come in and say, well, you know, since you realize you need me, I can renew you. Right. Psalms 51:10, create in me a clean heart, O power, and renew a right spirit within me. See, let's grab that. Let's grab that. Let's look that up. See, so the Lord is able to, you know, that's why you never have to feel like you're down and lost out, because the Lord is able to renew us, man. He specializes in that. All right. Psalms 51, we'll start at 9. Hide thy face from my sins and blot out all mine iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O power, and renew a right spirit within me. Renew, back in the Hebrew, goes into chadash, which says renew, rebuild, to repair, man. See? So when you get broken spirit, contrite heart, right? You get broken, you get taken down to the depths, you get crushed, feel the pressure, you feel all that. Yeah, it chips away at you. But the Lord is able to repair us, to renew us, to where, you know, and anytime you're working out and you break the muscles down, when they repair, they come back stronger. You see that? So the Lord is able to, again, reinvigorate us, man. Bring us back to life stronger. Okay? And you know, it says, create in me a clean heart, O power, and renew a right spirit within me. Okay, cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. So, you know, being renewed, transformed by the Lord is being aligning with his spirit, man. You see, aligning with his spirit. He realigns you with his spirit, man. Okay, and that's why King David said, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me, man. You know, you want the spirit because the spirit can renew you. It can refresh you, man. You know, like a computer needs a restart. You know, it start lagging, you know, it's getting boggled down. The memory, the cache is full or whatever. And you got to, you know, download some updates and restart it. And then next thing you know, it's working a lot smoother. So, yeah, man. And that's where, you know, even praying and fasting come into place to help with that, man. All right. Okay. Let's grab this, and I think I'm going to end it off. This is Jonah 2:2. It says, and said, I cried. Let me start at verse 1. Jonah 2:1. Then Jonah prayed unto Yahawah his power out of the fish's belly. And the fish's belly can represent being taken down to the depths of the earth. You know, really, when the Lord puts you in certain squeezes and positions, you know, positions of difficulty, you battling demons, you battling these particular things, you in the fire, you know. But listen, this is the prayer. It says, verse 2, and said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto Yahawah, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell cry I, and thou heardest my voice, man. See? So the Lord, you know, allows us to get taken to these depths very low, because in those low moments, the Lord's strength is made perfect, and he's able to renew you, reinvigorate you, to bring you back stronger, man, to repair you. And that happens by aligning with his spirit, man. Thinking on the things of the heavenly things, man. It has a way of freeing you and, you know, bringing peace to you, right? For thou hast cast me into the deep, in the midst of the seas, and the floods compassed me about. All thy billows and thy waves passed over me. Then I said, I am cast out of thy sight, yet I will look again toward thy holy temple. See, Jonah felt like the Lord was done dealing with him, man. He felt like he was casted out of his sight. And that's how you feel in those certain moments, man, when you get brought very, very low, you know. But it says, yet I will look again toward thy holy temple. Yeah. The waters compassed me about, even to the soul. The depth closed me round about. The weeds were wrapped about my head, man. So, you know, and that can be likened until you feel like you drowning. You know, sometimes you feel like you're just suffocating, Salakia, in this hellhole, man. But it says, I went down to the bottoms of the mountains. The earth with her bars was about me forever. Yeah. Yet hast thou brought me up, Salakia, yet hast thou brought up my life from corruption. Oh, Yahawah, my power. You see that? Jonah's prayer, he's saying how he felt like he was taken down to die. Pretty much. You know, he felt like he was drowning, man, like it was over with, you know, when he was in the belly of the whale, you know. But it says, yet hast thou brought up my life from corruption, O Yahawah, my power. When my soul fainted within me, I remember Yahawah, and my prayer came in unto thee into thine holy temple. See? Okay? You know, that was really the point. All right, but the Lord being able to bring you up from corruption, man. And that's what we read in Psalm 71, how the Lord can quicken us again and bring us up from the depths of the earth. And when he does that, he renews you, refreshes, resets your mind, you know. And again, they got a scientific term for it called neuroplasticity. This is really what happens, man. You know, and you can realign yourself with the spirit, man, and, you know, strengthen that pathway. But I'm in it off there and give all praises to Yahweh Bashmi Al Shah, DTA, Wah Baba Ball, Shalom.